Today is Thursday, October 24th. We'll tell you how both presidential candidates have now responded to comments from Trump's former chief of staff, all while a new survey proves most Americans, regardless of party, are stressed about the election. Also, U.S. officials are calling it a serious escalation. What to know about North Korea sending troops to Russia. Plus, we'll tell you what Boeing's largest union decided about whether or not to end its strike, why American Airlines is facing a record fine for violations. And this year's World Series is selling high-priced tickets fast. Those stories and even more news to know next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Well, as early voting is underway in almost every state, the presidential candidates continue their campaigning in crucial battleground states. Yesterday, they both highlighted comments they think will help their case. Vice President Kamala Harris delivered a statement yesterday from the vice president's official residence and called former President Donald Trump unhinged and unstable. She pointed to this week's comments from former Trump Chief of Staff and former Marine General John Kelly, who told the New York Times he's heard Trump speak well of Adolf Hitler, among other things. Harris says that offers voters a glimpse into what Trump really is. And at a CNN town hall last night in the battleground state of Pennsylvania, she agreed with Kelly, who had also called Trump a fascist. Last night, Trump responded on social media saying Kelly made up the stories and has, quote, Trump derangement syndrome, calling him a lowlife and dumb. Former President Trump held two campaign events in the battleground state of Georgia yesterday, where he called out President Biden for saying this week, quote, we gotta lock him up. Trump said it shows he's being politically persecuted, and he told the crowd Biden is behind all the lawsuits and criminal convictions against him. Remember, a jury found Trump guilty on 34 felony counts, and Trump faces more criminal cases in both state and federal courts. Coming up next, both Trump and Harris plan to be in Texas tomorrow. Well, here's one thing that's been bipartisan this election season: stress. A newly released survey from the American Psychological Association found almost 70% of Americans said they feel election-related stress, and nearly 80% are stressed over the future of the country more generally. These numbers are roughly the same as they were in 2020, but significantly higher than in 2016. Some of the specific worries people have are about political violence and the future of democracy. And remarkably, these concerns are shared by both Republicans and Democrats. Though there is a silver lining, more than 60% said they're hopeful about the changes the election might bring. But even if you don't feel hopeful, mental health professionals say there are ways you can deal with election-related stress. Actually getting engaged in the political process may help you manage stress by taking action. But whether or not you have time for that, they say managing the amount of information you take in is key by setting time limits on your phone or carving out space to stay offline. And since no single person can actually control the election outcome, it can be helpful to focus on habits you can control, like your daily routine and health. And you can remind yourself with actual data now, you're not the only one who feels that way. The U.S. has confirmed North Korean troops are in Russia joining the fight against Ukraine. American officials estimate 3,000 North Korean troops are now helping Russia on the ground, training at several locations. Now, exactly what these North Korean troops are doing in Russia is still TBD, but Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said if they go into combat in Ukraine, the troops are fair game. Austin called the move very, very serious, with potential impacts in Europe and Asia. He also said it's a sign Russia is desperate. U.S. estimates say more than 600,000 Russian troops have been killed or wounded since the country invaded Ukraine in 2022. But one key question is what North Korea's leader expects to get out of this. South Korean officials worry Russia may reward North Korea with sophisticated weapons technologies it could use to target South Korea. So in response, South Korea might send weapons to Ukraine directly. To be continued. Well, back in the U.S., Boeing's largest union rejected another labor deal that would have ended their 6-week strike. The union and Boeing had reached a tentative agreement over the weekend. It would have given workers a 35% pay raise over 4 years, plus a $7,000 bonus for ratifying the contract. But the majority of workers, 64%, voted against the contract. The number was less than the 95% who voted to start the strike in the first place back in September. Ultimately, though, many expressed wanting a better pay raise and the reinstatement of a pension program. The vote came just hours after Boeing reported a huge loss of $6.2 billion in the third quarter of this year, its biggest loss since 2020. Analysts say the strike is costing the company around $1 billion a month. It's been a tough year already for the aerospace company, which has been behind on production of its best-selling 737 MAX jet because of safety concerns, and the strike has shut down production of that jet completely. Now, Boeing factories in the Pacific Northwest will remain closed for the foreseeable future. Stay tuned. All right, we have more news for you still coming up, but first, a quick break to thank our sponsor. I've been getting more and more from the Skims Soft Lounge collection because every piece is the perfect combination of style and comfort with the softest, coziest fabrics. I love all the matching sets, from the Soft Lounge sleep set to my Soft Lounge tank and fold-over pant. There's just something about matching sets that makes me feel so put together with very little effort. And speaking of a great look with little effort, one of my favorite items is my Soft Lounge long slip dress. It really is the best one-and-done outfit that I can wear all year long, either on its own when it's warm outside, or I throw on a sweater or jacket over it and I'm good to go, feeling stylish and comfortable, even when the weather turns cooler. I've gotten so many compliments on this and people wanting to know where it's from, and I happily tell them Skims. So shop the Skims Soft Lounge collection at skims.com. Now available in sizes extra, extra small to 4X. If you haven't yet, be sure to let them know I sent you. After you place your order, select podcast in the survey and select The Newsworthy in the drop-down menu that follows. This episode of The Newsworthy is brought to you by Wildgrain. This time of year is so great for baking and making delicious, hearty meals. But sometimes I just don't have the time or the energy. And that's why this fall, we've been treating ourselves to Wildgrain's fresh bake from frozen sourdough breads, fresh pastas, and artisanal pastries. And right now, they even have yummy, limited-time, seasonal items. Think apple cider donuts from Wildgrain. I can't believe the quality of all of these items, in addition to how easy they are to make. I'm talking bake from frozen, no hassle, in just 25 minutes or less. Our family has enjoyed a beautiful sourdough loaf that we put out for guests who also oohed and awed over it. We've had large, flaky, delicious croissants, slow-fermented brioche rolls, fresh fettuccine, and more. But you choose what you want. Wildgrain's boxes are fully customizable. You can even choose their new gluten-free box and a plant-based box that is 100% vegan. Are you ready to bring all your favorite carbs right to your doorstep? For a limited time, Wildgrain is offering our listeners $30 off the first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/newsworthy to start your subscription. That's wildgrain.com/newsworthy, and you can use the promo code newsworthy at checkout. Okay, now back to the news. American Airlines will now have to pay a record fine. The U.S. Department of Transportation accused the airline of discriminating against passengers with disabilities. The federal agency handed out a $50 million penalty, saying the carrier committed civil rights violations from 2019 to 2023. The Transportation Department said the airline damaged thousands of wheelchairs in that 4-year period and often did not provide adequate assistance to passengers who needed it. In some cases, the so-called assistance resulted in injuries to passengers. One woman even said she no longer flies anymore because she felt like she was treated like luggage. American Airlines said it takes complaints and claims from disabled passengers seriously and has already invested $175 million this year to improve how it handles wheelchairs and scooters. All of that said, these issues are not unique to American Airlines. The Transportation Department says it's actively investigating other carriers over their treatment of disabled passengers, though it also said American was one of the worst offenders. Apple says it'll start rolling out its much-hyped Apple Intelligence next week. And meanwhile, it's ramping up prep on the next features to come, including the highly anticipated ChatGPT integration. The tech giant gave some early beta versions of it to developers yesterday as a preview before it'll be available to the public. When users ask Siri for help with something, the digital assistant may recommend using ChatGPT and will use it automatically once you give it permission. Other features in beta include a tool that automatically generates a custom emoji for you, and another called Visual Intelligence. It can give you information about something after you point your camera at it. Investors hope Apple's push into artificial intelligence will start an upgrade cycle. That's when many customers get new devices to take advantage of the new capabilities. In the meantime, while it won't have ChatGPT, the first version of iOS with Apple Intelligence features will be released to the public next week. It will include writing tools, notification summaries, and Apple's hearing test. Amazon Prime members are getting a new benefit: discounts on gas. Members can save 10 cents per gallon at 7,000 BP-owned gas stations around the country. In addition to BP, Amoco and AMPM locations will offer lower prices to Prime members. The catch is you do have to sign up for Earnify, BP's rewards program, to get the discount. But Amazon says members can expect to save around $70 per year on gas with this discount, and it all starts now. And then electric car owners may see benefits starting next year. That's when the online retailer says it will introduce savings on electric vehicle charging. Amazon's latest offer comes 4 years after Walmart offered a similar 10 cents per gallon discount to Walmart Plus members. That program is good at 13,000 Exxon, Mobil, Walmart, and Murphy locations across America. This year's World Series is one of the fastest-selling, most expensive fall classics ever. That's based on data from secondary market sellers like StubHub and Vivid Seats. They're reporting tickets going quickly and selling for astronomical prices. StubHub and Vivid Seats both say Game 1 tickets are selling 3 times faster than either of the last 2 years, and ticket sellers are reporting average prices well above $1,000 per ticket, with the most expensive being for Game 3 at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. One platform said the upcoming series has the highest average ticket price of any World Series except the 2016 edition. That's when the Chicago Cubs broke what they called a century-long curse of no World Series titles. This year will be the first time 2 of baseball's most storied teams will play in the World Series since 1981. It's between the New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers. The high-powered and pricey series starts Friday. But of course, most people will just watch on TV. Well, that's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Thing to Know Thursday. My guess is that if you've shopped online, you've probably relied on online reviews. In fact, research has shown 90% of people rely on reviews, but that up to 40% of those reviews are fake. Well, this week, a new rule from the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, banning fake reviews has officially gone into effect. It makes it even more clear that it's illegal to write or sell fake reviews, buy positive reviews, suppress honest reviews, and more. And people who violate the rule could face big penalties. Businesses could be fined up to $50,000 for each time a customer sees a fake review. Tech experts say this rule is important, especially now, because of artificial intelligence, which could make it even easier and faster for people to create fake reviews. All right, thank you so much for listening today and making us part of your daily routines. If you'd like to further support our work, consider becoming a Newsworthy Insider. You can listen ad-free on any podcast app and start a free trial at thenewsworthy.com/insider. And Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to episodes of The Newsworthy ad-free in the Wondery app. We'll catch you up on more news to know tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.